Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today we're going to be reviewing a bunch of new makeup products. I feel like I have something from almost every category. There's just been so many new fun launches lately. I cannot wait to dive in, so let's just do that. First up is the reformulated Lancome Tantidol Ultra Wear Foundation. If you have been watching me for a while, then you will know that I used to be obsessed with the original version of this foundation. It was my holy grail for years. It just was one of those foundations that looked beautiful and lasted forever. So I was really curious to see what exactly they reformulated, knowing how much of a fan favorite the original was. In the description, it says that this has their thinnest and most breathable formula yet, that it continues to deliver exceptional buildable full coverage with a natural matte finish. It still is waterproof and sweat and humidity resistant. But what's new is the formula's ultra breathability, powered by advanced airwear technology that gives you a flawless, undetectable finish with added skin-loving ingredients like hyaluronic acid, vitamin E, moringa seed extracts, and prebiotics. Just like the original Ultra Wear Foundation, the texture of this is incredibly lightweight and blendable. It gives really beautiful full coverage in a way that doesn't look too overly makeup-y, and it dries down to a really nice natural matte finish. I think that this looks beautiful when I first apply it and after several hours of wear, but for whatever reason, this reformulation doesn't hold up in the same way as the original, because it definitely starts to look greasy as the day goes on and with extended hours of wear. So if you're looking for a super lightweight natural matte foundation, I think that you will really enjoy this if you have normal to slightly dry skin. I can't see those of you with incredibly oily skin loving this, knowing that I'm not like the oiliest of all time and this still made my skin look greasy, but you never know. Could just be my skin chemistry. You'll have to let me know if you try it out. Next up is the NARS Light Reflecting Eye Brightener, which is supposed to be an advanced makeup skincare hybrid formula that illuminates your under eye area. It has medium coverage, a radiant finish, and the formulation is very creamy. This blends really nicely under the eyes. I like to apply it with the NARS Soft Matte Concealer brush and then finish up the blending process with a damp beauty sponge. That way I think it looks really nice and flawless under the eyes. I feel like this adds the perfect amount of coverage and brightness to definitely enhance your under eye area without looking overdone and too highlighted. But I feel like this formula is a little bit finicky, because when I test it out with different complexion products and different setting powders, I do often end up with very different results. Sometimes it'll oxidize with certain setting powders. Other times I feel like it will just kind of like fade in certain areas and not others. And then other times I've noticed that with a full day of wear, it kind of settles and like bunches up in certain areas and can look a little bit dry. So I don't know, I do think that this can look beautiful if you're using the right products with it, but it's not one of those products that I feel like I can rely on no matter what. Next up is the new One Size powder in the shade Ultra Pink. This is something that I was not planning on picking up. I can't remember what video I was talking to you guys about this in, maybe a favorites video, but I was telling you guys that instead of purchasing a pink under eye powder, I really liked to mix my pink blushes with the translucent setting powders that I already had. But I've heard such amazing things about this One Size setting powder that when I saw it sitting in Sephora in the pink shade, I was like, okay, maybe I should try it out. And I have to say that I do really love this shade of pink. I feel like it's just perfect for my skin tone, but this is definitely a very mattifying setting powder, and under my eyes, it can sometimes look a little bit dry. I also wanted to pick up the original in the shade Translucent just to see how this wore on the rest of my face and not my under eye area, and I definitely do prefer it on the rest of my face. I feel like this is a perfect summertime setting powder for me. I don't know that I'll love this in the winter when things are a lot drier, but in this hot or humid weather, it definitely helps to prevent me from looking greasy, which is great. Next up is the Jones Road Gel Bronzer. This is a lightweight gel that feels really nice and hydrating on the skin. I am applying the shade Light in this clip, and I think that the color is absolutely beautiful. It has light to medium pigment and a really nice, healthy, glowy finish, but unfortunately, every single time I have tried this, it has pilled on me and ended up looking a bit splotchy. Like, it'll even pill when I just rub it on the back of my hand to do a swatch. So this just unfortunately didn't work for me. I was super bummed out about it, which is such a bummer, because when I was first applying this, I was like, oh my god, this feels amazing. It looks so beautiful. This is gonna be my new go-to, but not anymore. When I tell you the last thing I need in my life right now is more blush, I mean it. The amount of new blushes that I have purchased over the past several months is out of control, and it's just gotten worse. I had to try these new Makeup by Mario Soft Pop Plumping Blush Veils. They just looked so stunning. And of course, as it always goes with me, these came out right after I uploaded my Makeup by Mario review where I tested every product from the brand. So if you haven't seen that yet, I will list that below. This was the only product that didn't make the cut because it came out right after I finished. So I picked up two different shades. The first is Pinch Me Pink, which is more of a warm toned pink, and the second is Perfect Pink, which is more of a neutral pink. These blushes are super soft and creamy, but they don't feel greasy at all, and they are still super lightweight, which is great. I hate the feeling of like a really thick, creamy blush. And the formula is really buildable. Initially it looks really sheer, but you can build this up to have, I would say, like a medium amount of pigment, and it's very easy to blend. Overall, I do think that these look gorgeous on the cheeks. The finish is very glowy, and I love everything about these. I love applying them and working with them. They're just like the easiest cream blush to slap on, and they look good every time. So even though, again, I have quite literally no need for these blushes in my life, that doesn't discount the fact that they are truly amazing. NARS also launched a new liquid blush called the Afterglow Liquid Blush, and I am such a huge fan of the original NARS liquid blush formula, so I really wanted to test this out. The texture of this is super lightweight and feels gel-like, so I really enjoy applying it. It does feel really nice. The level of pigment, I would say, is sheer to light. It definitely is a much more natural looking blush, and especially in the shade that I picked up, Behave. The swatches of this online make it look absolutely beautiful. It's like the perfect everyday pink, but on my skin, the pigment just really isn't there once it's fully blended out, and I did try to build it. I added like 3 to maybe 4 layers, I think, and you really can't build up pigment a lot, at least with this shade. But then, perfect timing, which never happens, I got a sample of this in the shade Orgasm. I would definitely say this one shows up more pigmented on my cheeks just because it's a little bit of a darker pink, but even still, it's just not a super pigmented formula. So if you are looking for a liquid blush like that, I would not go for this. I'd go for something like Rare Beauty or the original NARS liquid blush. If you want something that is more sheer and more no makeup-y and very natural looking and glowy on the cheeks, then this will be for you. I personally prefer the original liquid blush. Next up, we have the Fenty Beauty Matchsticks Color Adaptive Cheek and Lip Stain. This has that classic bright pink color that literally all pH adjusting products have. I'm sure a lot of you have noticed the fact that anything that says it's going to be pH adjusting to your natural skin tone just ends up being bright pink. So there's nothing about this shade that's super unique, but the texture of it definitely is. It's like this gel that has a super slippy, slidey formula. And I actually love applying this on the lips. It just feels really nice because of that slippery slide that it has. So when it comes to something like this, I would not recommend purchasing it if you already have pH adjusting products like this, because it's really just more of that exact same thing. But if you don't have one and you are interested in one, I do think that this is a nice cheek to lip multi-use product. Next is the Say Glowy Sculpt Cream Highlighting Blush, and based on the way that these swatched, I was not excited to put these on my cheeks. So here we have Pink Glow, Quartz Glow, Mauve Glow, and Bronze Glow. I just wasn't impressed by the swatches, but goes to show that that definitely can't tell you everything about a product, because I ended up really loving the way that this looks. It just looks way less intense on the cheeks than those swatches did, in a good way. Initially, it does feel very creamy to the touch, but as you blend it in, it does kind of just transform into this like weightless cream powder hybrid. And I actually think the glow is beautiful. Again, based on the swatches, I thought this was gonna be way too highlightery, but I don't think that it is at all. I think it just looks nice and radiant without being too glittery or shimmery. Plus, you can put it on top of powder, which is really nice, and I personally love the shade Mauve Glow. I feel like it just looks like this beautiful, healthy flush. A very similar product is the iconic London Kissed by the Sun Multi-Use Cheek Glow. I have the shade Playtime, which is a cool toned mauve shade. This reminds me of those old school like gel putty blushes. It has that same kind of texture, but it feels so nice. And similar to the Say product, it feels creamy in the pan, but when you apply it and blend it in, it just kind of turns into a powder and is weightless. And I also think that this one has the perfect amount of glow without looking too highlightery. So overall, I love both of these blushes. blushes. They're super similar, but if I had to pick one formula that I liked more, it would be Iconic London. Unfortunately, I don't think they have very many shades, so I think it'll just come down to whichever brand has a shade that works for you if you're into a product like this. And last for new blushes, I promise, are the new Dior blushes. I did pick up 2 shades. The first is Rosewood. Look how beautiful. And the second is Mahogany, but I didn't purchase this for the intention of using it as blush. I wanted to try using it as eyeliner. You guys know how I feel about brown shadow liner. Rosewood is stunning. There's really nothing else to say about it. It really is a beautiful blush. It has that kind of classic drier feel that Dior blushes have. It's not overly pigmented, but it's definitely buildable, and something about the way that this meshes into the skin just looks so good. And you guys, this Mahogany shade as eyeliner is stunning. I have it on my eyes today, and I'm not kidding, I have reached for this every single time I've done my makeup since I purchased it. I just feel like it has the perfect undertone, and it's not too dark. It has more of like a, I don't know, just like less pigmented look than some of my other liners or shadows that I use as liners, and I just really love that about it. So obviously a pricey product to purchase for eyeliner, but this, I mean, with like the size of this, would literally last you a lifetime if you used it for that purpose. Fenty Beauty made one of their limited edition shades permanent. It is the shade Riri. I know a lot of people love this shade, and I totally understand why. It's a really gorgeous, I would say like light to medium purpley pink with gold reflex. And it is really pretty, but it doesn't stand out enough to me compared to the rest of my collection for me to keep it. Can you believe I am exercising self-control over makeup? So I'm gonna give it away. Again, it's pretty, but I love my other lip products more. First is their Weightless Lip Color Nourishing Satin Lipstick. This is a buildable lipstick that is pretty lightweight, it's soft, it's comfortable, and I really love how sheer it looks with just one layer, but in order for this to look shiny on my lips, I do have to build it up quite a bit, and then it ends up having too much pigment for my personal liking. Given that this is called a sheer shiny lipstick, I was hoping it would be a bit shinier with one application, but keep in mind I'm somebody that is obsessed with an extra glossy lip, and I know that that look is not for everybody. So overall, pretty, not my favorite sheer shiny lipstick of all time though. The other lipstick they came out with is the Weightless Lip Color Nourishing Satin Lipstick. This is very, very pigmented, very pigmented. Most of the colors are either really bold or really dark, or both, at least on my skin tone, so I wasn't really able to find a shade that I liked, and I also feel like the texture of this is just not as soft and smooth as I was hoping it would be. Lawless Beauty came out with a couple of watermelon themed products in this really beautiful bright pink shade that I was dying to try. So I picked up the Forget the Filler Lip Balm, and I do think that this is a fun way to wear bright pink if you are interested in doing that in a way that's a little bit more natural, because it is definitely a sheer product. I do think that it looks pretty, but there's nothing about it that's like super special to me, whereas the Forget the Filler Gloss in Watermelon is extra special to me. This watermelon shade in gloss form is everything. I feel like it makes your lips look like you just ate a popsicle, that it's like dripping in juicy pink. But again, it's not overly pigmented, so it still is a more wearable way to wear a bright pink shade like this. Both of these products do have that like candy watermelon scent, which I do not love at all, but I'm willing to put up with it for this gloss. I have just been obsessed with this gloss from Lawless. I now have it in multiple shades. It is a little bit tacky, but I am okay with that given the level of shine and the pigment that I get, because it ends up lasting longer on my lips that way. So beautiful. Second to last, we have the Huda Beauty Lip Blush. I have the shade Rosy Kiss. This is absolutely beautiful. When it's fully blotted into the lips, it has this like soft, weightless, matte look and feel. It's super comfortable to wear. It's not drying at all, and I love this color. I feel like a lot of lip stains are in a very bright pink shade, and this one is just a little bit more toned down, so I personally find this to be more wearable, and because of that, it is definitely my new favorite lip stain. Last up, we have the new Charlotte Tilbury lip blurs. I was sent 4 different shades, and those shades are Pillow Talk Medium, Walk of Shame, and Ruby. If these came out in like 2015, I probably would have had a heart attack, because the formula is so nice. They're very, very soft, super comfortable. It's like the silkiest matte lip product like this that I feel like I've ever tried. I also like that it doesn't dry down feeling like crusty and heavy on the lips. That was a problem that I for sure used to have with liquid lipsticks, and it's just so nice. Also, I do definitely think there's something kind of blurring about the finish of this, so I understand why they call this the, what is it called? Airbrush? I thought this was called the lip blur. Who knows? But despite all of that, I will be finding a new home for these because I just don't wear lip products like this anymore, and I haven't for years. I am super confused by the influx of liquid lipstick launches that we have seen lately. I feel like every brand is coming out with a liquid lipstick, and I don't see anyone wearing them on social media. Like, the look is still very, very natural. Most people are still just wearing lip liner and gloss, so I am confused. I don't know, so definitely not for me, but if you do still love a liquid lipstick, then I would for sure look into those. They are elevated for sure. All right, you guys, we are going to wrap up this video here. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below if you're gonna test out any of these products. If so, as always, they're all listed and linked in my description box below. And if you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, click on that notification bell, and send my channel to a friend. Thank you so much for doing those things. Your support really does mean the world to me. Thank you for watching my videos. I love the freaking heck out of you guys. Make sure to stay tuned for my next one because that will be up in a few days. But until then, I hope you have a great few days.